All right, we're live, and I'm prepared as ever. Welcome back to episode 35 of Drawing Blood.
Yeah, they called it the right thing.
We didn't call it the right thing? Uh-oh. Wrong again. It's an inside look at our game, #Blood, which is a traditionally drawn, top-down action-adventure video game, very much in the spirit of Zelda and old Cartoon Network shows that we regale from our past. With me today is Cody in the swamps of Florida, and Bob in the swamps of Riverhead, right to my right. So let's recap what we sort of did last week. Oh, and we apologize for yesterday we were going to do a Twitch, but we got bogged down with work, and you wouldn't want to see me and Bob yesterday anyway. We were in such rotten moods. And Cody was
I couldn't even chat with when you guys are in a bad mood. I'm like, I can't work listening to Grumpy Chris.
It's infectious. Oh, well. There was plenty of reasons to. Okay, so I'm going to recap what we did last week, which is a little bit of Corey. Let me go into that. Characters, Corey. Walk test. No, I believe it was this one. Nope, that's an old one. Alright, so we did a few of Corey's walks here. We did a happy, sad, and neutral one right there. So we're building his library up slowly. I thought this week it might be a nice change of pace to sort of focus on one of the bosses that we're working on. And he has a few stages. We call him the Rat King, for lack of a better name right now. So that's what we're going to start working on now. I don't think I showed anyone the sad walk cycle, but that's pretty much it. And I just used the pose from the sad idol one up there. So if he's sad and needs to walk around, we got that. At least one angle. Oh, hey, Daniel, how you doing, dude? Good to see you again. And thanks for joining. So yeah, we're going to do a scared and a mad walk cycle eventually, but since I'm a little walk cycled out, this is the Rat King we're working on. You see he can kind of change from kind of a cartoony, cutesy to pretty vicious, and we're gonna focus on the cutesy one today. So right now I got just one pose of him, where he's kind of hurt like that. So we're gonna work on an idle one where he's kind of standing with a little bit of bravado, and we're just gonna do an idle, ease in, ease out like we always do. So let me just start with the body first. Gonna zoom into 200, brush 5. Let me just make sure that's right. Brush first. Yep. Alright, so we're going to start with that. He's just a big circle body. It kind of reminds me... There was a... Cody, was there a rat kind of in Mario 2?
Yeah,
Do you remember that? Did he have like... Was it a rat with the crown? Is Cody there? Cody's...
I was on the phone. What's up?
I was asking if there was a rat in Super Mario 2.
Mouser?
Mouser, did he have a crown, or was that the frog with the crown?
No, the frog had the crown.
Okay.
Mouser had the cool sunglasses.
Oh, yeah. Cody's he's our inside man.
I gotta see this Mouser.
Oh, the Rat King looks 6. Thank you. Yeah, the Mouser. I thought he had a crown, but I guess the frog did.
Oh, he did have some really...
They never really kind of
man.
revisited that, which is strange. I loved Super Mario 2. It was so different. Nintendo had kind of like a track record of changing things up so much for the first sequel. Did that with Zelda too.
Well, that was just because it was a different game.
Well, yeah,
Mario
they're all.
2 wasn't Mario, right?
No, but it wasn't Mario.
They like reskinned it almost.
Oh, that was what kind of game was that?
It was that game, it just had different characters, and they just changed the main characters to be Mario.
Do you know what the original was called?
Yeah, it's Doki Doki... No, not Doki Doki
Doki
Literature
Grabbing
Club.
Club?
Oh.
No, Doki Doki Panic.
Okay.
That's where like stuff like Shy Guys and stuff. They're originally from that game.
Oh, cool.
And then Mario kind of like took them over.
Oh,
So like,
gotcha.
so all the bosses like, but really it's weird because only like Birdo and Shy Guys and stuff stayed.
Those were the only guys who
like
stayed?
yeah, like some of the other like things were created in that, but like stuff like the bosses really never took on. It's kind of weird.
That frog boss was pretty cool, I remember. It's like a fun, like, that was a challenging game, actually. Alright, we're gonna make him angry in this one. Sometimes when I make these characters angry, I attach the eyebrows. Make it look a little angrier, I think.
Oh yeah, new challenger just mentioned that the boss Ward, they put him in Link's Awakening.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Link's Awakening did weird like cameo stuff in that game. There's a couple other cameos. The remake isn't yet. No.
That looks amazing.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that.
I never played...
I played that originally, like back in the day, but it's so hard to go back to original.
Is it the same like secrets and everything? Or...
I believe so. I don't.
Just sort of a 3D manifestation of the.
I'm sure they'll change some stuff. There was
Oh, Nicholas is back. Link's Awakening is basically Zelda through a David Lynch. That's a good, I like that analogy. Alright, so he's gonna stand up proud here. Yeah, we could kind of give him a little bit of a hunch. Put a shadow under him. And this will be our neutral pose. So when, Corey and Becky finally chase this guy down, you know, he'll kind of be ready to confront them. And I always bring a Becky character in here. Let me actually separate that layer. Just so I always sort of have a size reference. Now, Becky's on the small side. So, almost a head and a half taller than her, which is good. That's a good kind of ratio for the adults, too, in our game. So, gonna go to 200. Nintendo said it. Oh, that's what they said. Okay, I was gonna give you credit. You should have always take credit when someone. That's my lesson of the day. All right. So I'm gonna focus on the eyebrows and the ease in, ease out. I've done plenty of idles on this. It's going to be pretty much 13 frames down, 13 frames up, making it exactly a second. Kind of establishing a little rhythm here in the game. Now, I didn't do a front head for this character. I always sort of try to favor a side. Symmetry sort of is a little clinical, I find, with some of the stuff. It just looks, it doesn't look... You hardly ever see cartoons where they're straight on. Like, look at The Simpsons or something. When you see them straight on, it's always kind of weird looking, I find. Alright, he's got a smile. Okay. Okie dokie. Okay, get this ear in. Then he has a tail too, which we'll do separately. So I usually separate. Sometimes I just go for it, just all on one layer. But we could do a blink and stuff on this guy, so we don't need to separate. We could separate it in bare minimum layers. All right.
Nicholas is asking. I guess this is probably going to be the first boss we have, right?
This will be one of the first bosses. Yeah, we're working right now to like kind of established level 1. We got a demo where it's not exactly a level, just sort of showing mechanics. But the goal for now is early 2020 to have level 1 all finished, so we can start kind of building this thing out. And we have a lot of assets now that we can kind of work with. So I'm gonna call this guy Rat King. I'll just call it RK. Idle.
Mission.
Oh,
Boy.
oh, Bob's working on what made him angry yesterday. I had a different one to be angry at. So this is a boss. Yes, monster. Yeah, it's definitely a boss. But in the game, I think I showed a little bit last week. The actual game, there's rats in it. So this is sort of it should take players a little bit by surprise. I would think that there's actually a bigger kind of almost humanoid kind of rat. Well, what did a good dive into? Oh, okay. Is this the theories on Super Mario Brothers 2? I remember that guy. I was what year did that come out, Cody? Cody. Oh, we stumped him. You hear that typing?
I don't know. Man, 88. That's all right.
I thought he had everything down pat.
I'm not good with dates.
Like having dates either. You're not good with that.
My wife is not good with having dates with me. Say how much.
Alright, so let's see what I'm going to do here. Separate this. I'm going to change the background color. I don't know, when the background color is pure white, it kind of hurts my eyes a little bit. So I'm going to call this RK.
R. Kelly?
R. Kelly. Yeah. Maybe I'll call him Rat King just so we don't get into any hot water. Head, idle, pose. So I'll separate that. This one I can call it torso. Pose. Up, idle. Sorry. Alright. So I'll go into this one first and kind of just do an ease in, ease out. So what's nice about ease in, ease outs is really you only have to do half of it and then reverse the frames, which is a very Fleischer rubber hose kind of feeling. So I try to keep all of them that simple. Original game was 87. Yeah, I remember it was before I even had a Nintendo when I was playing it at my friend Jared's grandma's house. She always spoiled us. I remember loving it though. Like I remember liking how Luigi was a different size, and how they all had different kind of like a skill set. I don't know. No one really used Luigi though, because he just jumped a little higher, and it was always a disadvantage. Like,
there was one level that I always went to Luigi with. I think it was like when those levels were a lot of flying carpet. I just felt like I had a better chance to land on them with him.
Well, but then Princess would always be, because she.
Well, that was the thing.
She had hang time, you know.
I felt like it was like if you used anyone other than Princess, you were just trying to give yourself a challenge.
Oh, Cody was challenging himself at the age of 9. All right. So I'm just gonna duplicate that. Sometimes with these, to get symmetry. I know I just kind of railed against it, but just for the rough, I'll do something like that. So this will be an ease in, ease in. Is someone screaming outside?
That's outside.
That's outside?
Yeah.
Well, it is Friday. The bad part of town. Alright. Let's clean this sucker up.
Keeping it classy.
So yeah, you can see all these are pretty simple shapes. It's indicative of everything else we're kind of doing. Then when you see the Rat King, when he turns into his like second or last sort of phase, it's like we kind of break that mold. Got a little bit of a Superman pose here almost. Yeah, it's been a hard week here at the studio. It's been a hard year. 2019 is.
Never just have a bad year.
Never have a bad year.
Yeah, it was nice. I went out to lunch today with a friend of mine. It was like the first time I've like left the house during the day, like so long.
Where'd you go? Not that I would know, but
I just went to like this bagel shop that I get. Like they make good steak and cheese.
oh, nice.
Over by his office. Yeah.
That's not a weird question, Nicholas. Actually, we're gonna kind of explain it that she's a very good athlete. And we kind of explained that early when we kind of allude that she's a field hockey whiz. So she uses her athletics, and then with the support of her mentor that you meet, she sort of learns good fighting skills.
A little more to the backstory.
Yeah, that's a little bit more of a backstory thing, but we kind of explain it early on in the game that she, is definitely athletic. So you could hopefully hone that into fighting vampires. But we are trying to explain it. It's just not an anomaly. And Steph Rock, what up? Hey, how's it going? And Joe Whimsy, hey, how's it going, Joe? Why not the whole Buffy? She's the chosen one. Well,
You just found out our backstory.
You figured out our backstory.
That might have been in the pitch packet. Uh-oh. They're coming
She
for
has
it.
nothing to do with Buffy. Come on.
No, this is Buffy what? Buffy the what?
It's not,
Huh?
it's not the same
Never
letter
heard of
and the
it.
same amount of syllables.
And what is this Dexter's Lab everyone's talking about? I don't know.
Never seen it before.
I love when you see on those indie game chats and someone kind of like mentions something. It's like, oh, this looks like a reskin of, yada yada yada, and they try to walk it back. It's like, oh, I never heard of that game. It was like clearly a reskin. No, we're very kind of open with. We're paying an homage to a lot of things. We don't want to copy Zelda. We want it to be as fun as playing Zelda, and we don't want to copy any of the Cartoon Network shows that we like. We just want to pay an homage to it.
That's the story we're sticking
And
to.
it's like I think Stranger Things
I mean, Stranger
masterfully
Things.
does it, and if we could even do it 1/10 of the way they did it, but I don't think anyone feels like they're copying stuff rather than they're paying it its due.
Because there were shots in Stranger Things that just straight up.
There was that
Copied
there's that
scenes of it.
Terminator shot that I was just like I thought I was watching the Terminator.
And the first season of ET shot. And the car flipping.
What's the E? Oh, okay, yeah. E.T. I had to watch the first season again. It's one of those shows I'll definitely rewatch again. No, I love. That's like my favorite new series is definitely Stranger Things. I'm glad to see it's popular. I didn't think the stuff we kind of liked would ever get that popular again. Alright. Get the leg in here. So, who out there is doing freelance like Bob and myself, trying to make ends meet? I know Cody is too. Preparing for school, so hold on, I missed out. My sister is a goalkeeper in field hockey, and she's pretty aggressive after training. See? Can she wear a pink robe? Put two pigtails in? We're waiting for the first cosplayer to show up at one of our stations. I think that'll be a fun kind of milestone. Preparing for school, so I've been missing your streams. Oh, okay. Well, you can always watch them on YouTube too, but I'm glad you're in for this one. This guy. Freelance. Who's Mootsie? Do we know a Mootsie? That's a new one? Freelance for life. Yeah, I'm trying to get out of the freelance game. I just want to do these streams. I haven't found a way to work free yet, though. Well, I found plenty of ways to work free, just not survive free. Just do these all day. Get blood done. Watch them on what? Oh, on YouTube. Any one of you guys want to throw our YouTube link up there? You can subscribe to that, and we post these all usually right after.
Or usually probably after the weekend.
And maybe
Within the
weekend.
day.
Yeah. So I don't think you get to see the comments on that though, right? I can't do freelance. There's no PayPal where I live. Really? There's no pay? Is PayPal restricted in some
certain
countries?
Yeah.
Nicholas, where do you live? I've never heard of PayPal being.
He lives in the neighborhood.
Oh, I know a neighborhood. I just trying to figure out which one. All right. This one we don't need to rough out. Gonna do a freestyle. Paraguay. No PayPal in Paraguay.
Little girl from Paraguay.
That's shocking to me. I didn't know. And there's no way to transfer money, huh? Is there in Paraguay, is there an animation industry at least though? Yeah, when the lines get this close, you can really make hay while the sun is shining. You don't need to rough it out. Every time you draw a little more, your line gets a little more confident.
Or you just care a little less.
Or you care less. I've been there too. I just moved to a different country, so I haven't been doing a lot of freelance recently. So, what country and where did you move from? And are you working in animation or the arts? I'm talking to Daniel. I'm sure I've asked everyone this, but my memory's shot. It's a byproduct of having 2 kids and working in this industry. I was up to like... I woke up at 2 in the morning this morning just worried about finances. Such a crappy life. I'm always on the fence. I was like, let's just all work on blood and then we'll figure it out. And then I like get nervous when I'm at home and everyone's spending money. I'm like, oh, we need to make money. Oh, that looks good. And Bob, I replied all to that, right? So you would get an email. Okay, cool. Oh, he's typing feverishly. He really wants a program.
Writing emails.
Oh,
I can tell.
Emails. Isn't it funny that it's sort of... Email's one of those things that we... Oh, thanks for the subscribe. Email's one of those things where we thought it would save a bunch of time. Like, when it first came out, it's like, oh, you don't have to run to the post office anymore. This is amazing. You can just talk to anyone. Imagine the time you save, and how much of our day is writing emails now. I used to just go to the post office once a day. Just sitting here waiting for emails. I say bring back the post office. I work in a little studio like Exit 73, but still there's nothing like a proper animation studio career or actual teacher. That's like, oh, well, I'm glad you enjoy the streams, though. Oh, wait, I missed, from Holland to Sweden. Your animation and illustration. I have done some things for Iron Horse Games. Oh, you know, I love Iron Horse. Do you deal with Michael Gordon? I love that guy. Pencilmation, I know. My thesis student worked for Pencilmation. Alan Rogers and other random junk. Wow, this game looks amazing. Surprised I haven't heard of it till now. Happily found. Oh, well, thanks for joining. Well, the game's not released yet. I'm still working on the first boss here, so. But I'm glad you like the look of it. We actually played some of it last week. One of the demos we're putting together. But hopefully by early 2020 we'll have a lot of stuff to show. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the look. It's, you know, it's something we've been playing around with a lot, so I'm glad people gravitate towards the look. It's sort of this renaissance in animation and games now, or traditional animation. I feel like they're getting better in games and worse on television. And, you know, that's kind of sad, but sort of the truth. Yeah. No. It's just so many of our friends and colleagues that are in the field aren't even drawing, I feel like. They're just... I don't know. Something's upsetting about that. Ever since Cuphead, I think there's been... Yeah, no. Cuphead really opened the doors for it. No, that Cuphead... Because it was a tremendous risk when you think about it. Especially since no one from that era would ever play a video game, I feel like, you know, who originally saw the 1930 stuff, if they're even around anymore. But people gravitated towards it. And they did a masterful job of executing the style. I mean, that looks spot on. And the way they achieved that was by doing it exactly how they used to. So, no real secrets. So what I would like to do with this guy is get the idol done, and sort of one of his, he's gonna summon other rats. So he kind of has his minions do the bidding, and then he'll burrow himself away, and then he can attack from underground. Yeah. They did color it digitally, but they drew it all on paper, then scanned it and inked it and all that stuff. So, I mean, without the exception of putting it on an Oxberry machine, which is, for those of us who aren't familiar, that's the camera they kind of use to shoot those cells. SVA had one of those, right? An Oxberry? Or a version of an Oxberry?
I think they did. I don't know how to use it or just want.
I had to use it just for one thing, and it was just to kind of show like like how you would pan something. Good old era.
Just to make you appreciate.
Oh yeah, oh it did make me appreciate it. What? Our school was so. Our school was like really. When I was graduating, I was a year ahead of people who it was mandatory for them to take digital compositing, which is sort of the gateway into showing you After Effects, and at that time it was scanning and coloring digitally and stuff. And I missed it by a year before it was a requirement. And I had to take summer classes to get rid of some of the stupid humanities you had to take. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like I'm gonna focus on sociology all of a sudden.
But
Or art school.
From SVA.
Yeah, from SVA.
No, I got my badge.
Yeah, I would love to talk to that shrink. So I had to write this letter to my what was Reeves, the chairperson, and I had to pretty much beg him to let me take digital compositing. They didn't want me to take it. I was in computer arts and they had us take traditional animation class, and the teacher was so adamantly against any sort of computer use. That's always nice. Aren't teachers supposed to just be neutral about those things? No, I had to, I had to jump through all sorts of hoops. They did not want me taking it. I don't know if they just thought it wasn't gonna, gravitate that way. Which is sort of, I mean, technology is gonna move forward, whether we like it or not. Dang. All right. So in any case, I'm just happy to finally be done with Gen Ed now, the first semester of ours. And two SVA teachers were strangely like. Oh, new challenger, you went to SVA? were we in the same class together? If you were in that, I graduated 2003 or 2 or.
Oh, you wanted to use computer arts.
Oh,
Probably.
computer arts. But Cody, wouldn't have you known him then? Did you know New Challenger, Cody?
No, I don't think.
Did you know?
I think I did. I guess he would have been in 2000.
He
He
might
would
have
have been like a year behind us.
New Challenger. Did you know Nate Overstrom? He was one of our. He was in computer arts, right, Cody?
Yeah.
I switched to graphic design. Oh, you were there for a while? I remember they were showing us After Effects even the first year, though. Andy Gonzalez came in and showed us, and I remember it blew my mind that seeing just a cartoon in color that a student did. Because, you know, we were just shooting everything on pencil test.
I was looking through my computer the other day, and I found the backup of Chris, you and my hard drive from SVA.
That's a time capsule I wouldn't have opened.
No, it's like one of those things
It's
where
those embarrassing things where you think it's so good.
and I want to delete it, but like at the same time, I'm like, I should probably keep it.
I wouldn't delete it. I just
No, it's just like I have it hard
vacuum
copied on a
seal.
drive.
Never open it.
Yeah.
What was on there? What was some of the more memorable things?
Well, all of like Gone Fishing is on there.
Ooh.
God, it's like
That is
I remember seeing like just like quick little like I don't know like a 2-second scenes that you did, and I remember being so blown away by them, and now looking at them I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
Time makes fools of us all.
Yeah. There's some action smash some stuff on there.
Ooh. I remember I brought that game to my old high school to show my old teacher. Cody and I made this really rudimentary game.
I can't even call it a game.
It's not a game, no. Yeah, it's pretty much a point and click game, except if you click, everything breaks.
You click more than one thing at once.
Yeah, no. If you attack and jump at the same time, it breaks or he flies off the screen. But I remember bringing it to my old high school when we were finished, and he would. My teacher went to SVA and he was all proud. And he's like, "All right, let's see." Like called the whole class over. He's like, "All right, who wants to try this?" And then I forget what kid tried it, but he hit 2 buttons at the same time and it broke. So where anything was seen. It was so funny. Those were the days. We had to scan and do everything and. Well, I look at like animation that we first started with in the studio, and there's some things that I would have done differently too, So I think it's just one of those things too. Like in 7 years from now, we'll look back and see some stuff we're not very happy with. I think Bob can already attest to that right now with what. No, so SVA was fun though. Not a good friend here. I was when I finally felt like high school. I didn't have a ton of friends or anything. SVA was. I managed to get 3 or 4 of them. All right. Steph Rock went. A lot of SVA alumni this year. Any other SVA alumni? He could be in there now.
Wait, Step Rock is in 2003?
That's when we graduated.
I was gonna say, if Step Rock's referring to Oxberries and saying 2003, did they graduate your year in
That must have
animation?
been. Steph Rock, do you... I
Oh.
graduated. Okay. So
Who are you?
Oh, is it?
Oh.
Oh, I was gonna say, is it Stefan, the really tall fella? Oh, that's it.
Stefan, I know.
Oh man,
I
you
know
won.
Stefan too.
You won the Dusty that year.
I remember them showing that one off.
Yeah,
Man.
they would Stefan, would you be comfortable with showing that now, or is it? I would. I'm going to go on the record that I wouldn't show my thesis if I had it, though. So don't feel obligated. Steph Rock. Oh man. He also, Stefan, you worked at it was called Noodle Soup at the time. Then they changed to World Leaders, and you were one of the employees on Venture Brothers, right? It's a small community. Dealio at this
Sounds
point.
like he, yeah.
Yeah, I never even asked for my thesis back. Like I sent in the what the hell is it called? The beta. We had to put it on a beta disk or something. And they were like, "Do you want it back?" And I was like, "I'll get it back after tonight or something." And I never went back for it. So mine's lost pre-internet.
I think I have some hard copies of
Mine?
stuff.
Yeah.
I have like a stack of DVDs or CDs and stuff that are all burned, and a lot of them have
What? Oh yeah.
stuff about your teeth.
Was that fishing one?
No, I did
No,
one
it's
where it was
the-
like I did a parody of Apocalypse Now with all barn animals. And it was. Do you remember that? Yeah.
Was it called? What was it called?
Jesus, this is bad.
I want to say it's like Fur Apocalypse Now, or
It's someone else. I forget who helped me write it actually, which is really bad. Can't get that.
I'll tell you in a second. I have the
Okay.
I have the discs right here.
Hey Alex, how you doing? Yeah, animatic director for. Oh man, that show's been on for that. Think about Venture Brothers is still on.
Well, they brought it back.
480p interlaced. I don't. Man, we attract an old crowd here.
You want
What do you remember who wrote it, Cody? Who helped me write that? Or who wrote it, I think. I just kind of...
Oh, Fur of Darkness.
Fur of Darkness. Oh, clever boy.
Like this CD has the first half of it on QuickTime.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what to do with that CD. Destroy that evidence. Let's see. We'll probably make his head... He's going to go down in this one, so I'll probably skew the head a little bit to be a little bigger since he's kind of moving in space, so... I mean, we're going to animate it bigger, but... Fur of Darkness. Oh, man.
I got some big fish storyboards on the disc too, if you want that.
Wait, that never... We just did those storyboards for free, right?
We didn't get paid.
No. Cool. We're in talks with doing a music video, which I feel like we still get approached with music videos, and then you kind of throw a price at them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I can afford that." Well, neither can we. That rat looks evil. I stole the whole cheese. Yeah, he's an evil rat. Trust me. Never really occurred to me to know it's easier to animate on ones for games because it's. Yeah, I think, well, games are all, our game's sprite-based, so we want to, you know, if we're panning a character, I always like to pan on ones, just because I don't like the strobing that happens when you don't pan on ones. So yeah, you would want to do, you know, the characters are smaller so you can shoot on ones, but you'll probably end up spending the same amount of time animating if it was a bigger character, just to get a little more animation out of it. And we shoot 24 frames a second, so. Oh man, so Stefan, where are you working now? Are you still in the industry? God, I haven't. I hate fake pixel games. I don't like when pixels rotate and you can tell it's like a rotated drawing, but I appreciate pixel art. It's a hard medium for us, especially. Let's see, I might have to bend him a little bit more here. Maybe I'll lower the head a little bit like that. Yeah, when they rotated it, it looks so like it just doesn't look right. It just looks like a bunch of squares moving, kind of like I guess they do that in Minecraft, but Oh man, I've gone so many ways. Still animating. I worked in live action for a while. Was on the Avengers as a Oh,
Oh wow.
ooh, those are big. That's big time. But you're still animating.
Because I'm working in my garage.
Yeah. I imagine your office working for the Avengers was a little different than Cody's garage
We're above diner.
or above a diner in the bad part of town. It was a big feature. Though. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean, New Challenger. But then it would actually take that pixel and fill in that square. Though I'm more talking about when you take like pixel art, like in Flash, say, or in Photoshop, and just rotate it, so it's like the edges don't, the edges rotate with it. But like no, something like Star Fox or something where they had to, everything was translated into pixels. I was overseas then. Oh man, South Korea. In a creepy office space. Oh, okay. well, I'm familiar with the creepy office space.
Maybe we have more in common than you
Yeah,
think.
we might be. So let's see. We can do that. We'll increase the shadow. Now let me just see what this looks like outside of it because it might be a little too big. No, that looks right. And then we can play with the nose and have some drag on it and stuff. So I'm okay with that. So what I'll do actually in this one, I'm going to do everything the same, and I'm going to separate the nose on this one. So we can have a little bit of drag, and that way we can just kind of duplicate the head on the way back, but the nose will have a little bit of drag. It'll look nice, I think. A little secondary. So what I'll do right now is just make sure the nose is separate. Alright, get that there. Color that. I'll show you what I mean when I'm... Okay. Break this one. Oh, another subscribe. Thank you. I also animated a bunch of stuff for Universal, Volcano. Oh, Mike O. That's a name that echoes in our office quite often. Al P. Yep. We in memory of Al, we kind of helped finish his last film that was a work in progress. We collaborated with Matt Lee, Franco, Mike Carlo, all close friends with Al. Real sad what happened to him. Alright. So, just so I don't forget the nose. No, Mike Oviedo, I'm talking about, one of the best character designers in SVA. Especially our class, he was top notch. I always wanted him to get back into animation, and I think he periodically kind of tries to find his way back. He's in Cody's part of town too, though. A lot of Florida people.
Yeah.
All the feels. Yeah. I saw all those. No, that was a fun little homage to pay to. Al, more than a lot of people, touched a lot of lives, and he's one of those examples of when it's just a genuine person. Like, he never sugarcoated anything. He always wore his heart on his sleeve, and he was a hell of an animator. So, that was when we got to do the film and see a lot of people got to watch the film at the film festival that Matt Lee puts together called Midnight. What's it called? Midnight Summer Teen Films Festival. We got to see a lot of
Animation Anarchy.
Animation Anarchy, aka there's a lot of it. It's like the Sean Combs of festivals. He just has a bunch of names. No, it was nice to see all the students come together, and a lot of the faculty showed up. And it's just like, oh, we really kind of a New York staple. All right, so we could just do an ease in, ease out with this one. Forget about the nose right now. gonna rough that one out. Just don't make a fool of myself. I don't want this one to end up on Cody's hard drive in a few years, and we look back and be like, oh. I do. One day when Cody, you're up here, you just have to bring it, and we'll crack a 6-pack and watch that. I have a feeling I'll need more than that after. What else, Cody? What else you worked on? Okay, so go through your games that you worked on. Yeah, Axum Smash is Axum Smash 'em. Like all your student projects. We did Axum Smash 'em. What was the next one?
What did we do after that?
I don't remember.
Like, we had to have done something between
Thanks for
that and
subscribing.
Pieces.
Well, yeah, because that was first year, right?
No, Action Smash was second year? Yeah, second year.
So first year, you didn't do anything.
We didn't do anything.
No.
Computer arts first year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Before you did interactive.
Yeah, they like don't let you actually do anything cool.
And then.
Yeah, I don't know.
What was
Second year? I don't know what I did third year. I think I've done something.
third year?
Maybe it was just like a bunch of random stuff.
Yeah, third year.
And
Third year, I don't know if I did a film either. I don't think third year I did a full film. We did a lot of assignments.
Beckerman, we didn't do anything.
Was it Duga and Ira?
No, I had Ira and we did. I did 2 films that year because I just couldn't sit around and eat.
Just do nothing.
But third year was Beckerman and we didn't actually make a film.
Will we just make storyboards?
I never even animated. You just did like almost like a.
To practice.
Yeah, we never even shot anything on the pencil pen, so I really don't remember any of it.
Third year was the least memorable.
Yeah,
I remember
no,
for
it
me
was
too.
still a little dumb that year.
No, I think they cleaned up their act a little bit. But no, I have mixed feelings about how they could approach things there. Not that I'm anyone to judge, I guess. All right. Okay. Now let's see. It's going to be the same chart, which is shoot on 2s in the beginning, 1's in the middle, 2's at the end. Pretty standard ease out chart. And we lost a real champion of animation this week too with Richard Williams, which that was upsetting to learn. I always said he was the best, in my opinion. I still think that. But he had a pretty storied career, so if I had his career, I'd sign up for 86 too, I guess. Alright, that's about right. Yeah, Andrew was asking if we were asking each other on our Discord, so do we have a plan how we're gonna do the Rat King attacks? And we all looked at each other and realized we didn't, so we all just started talking about it. Yeah, Richard Williams was kind of in a league of his own, if you ask me. I don't know how he did it. Like physically, mentally, I don't know how he strung it together and just probably animated 63 years out of his 86 years on the planet. And I just, you could look at any of his things, you could look at any of his films from, you know, even the 70s and be like, oh, this looks just as good. Like, he was just always good. Get that shadow. The idols are always sort of more boring of this price, but I do need to start somewhere. those lecture videos of him kind of showed some buggy-eyed madness. I think he had at least a little. Yeah, well, you probably to just you kind of do have to have a little bit of mad scientist in you to sit down and say, well, I'm going to animate everything myself and do it all on ones. And then with the Thief and the Cobbler and stuff, when, you know, they were trying to put... I don't know what happened, but someone tried to take over. And he sort of just gave up on it, like, after working on it so hard. And so, yeah, there's a little bit of probably mania that he had. But no, the Thief and the Cobbler had some of the best kind of optical illusion animation I've ever seen. Plus, I think, you know, Aladdin should be the Disney's first Aladdin, not the Will Smith version. There should be. They should look deep in the mirror for that one too. Watch all those TNCs that made an animator redo the Wolf. Yeah, no, and I feel like his character, that kind of the villain in Thief and the Cobbler, like Jafar, was based on him, like unofficially. The teeth are a little messed up. Oh man, I'm so excited to hear that Stefan's back in. It's still in animation though. I love when people we graduate with are still in. Oh yeah. No. Oh, absolutely. Well, that one scene when he was shuffling cards around and stuff. I don't know how he did that. Like, I just don't. I frame by frame that before, and I don't know how he did it. All the cards are like perfectly accurate. Like it's a whole 52 card deck. It's crazy. So I guess this sprite took me, it's almost finished, what, I guess about an hour a sprite I take on. Should have way more of these done by my account then. Mr. Price, yeah, he did look like Mr. Price. Like, oh, Macro, yeah. No, any of those who are just joining, I am a big fan of Macromedia Flash for just its simplicity. Adobe Animate burnt us all a lot of times, and everyone I talk to has the same sort of it crashes a lot. Out of all these streams, and we've been doing these for almost 3/4 of a year, it's never crashed on me, and it crashed on Bob once, and I think it was because you were using masks and stuff, which it gets a little buggy then, but you can sort of forgive. I can't stand not being able to zoom in and zoom out while drawing in Macromedia. Oh, yeah, you could do that, I think, with, well, I just use the magnifying glass and the alt button, but I've never had it not being able to do that. Oh, when does our portable Cintiq show up? Is that here yet? No. I have CS6. I've used all the CSs. Honest. Yeah, maybe I never. I played with 3 the most after Macromedia, then 5, I think. I remember 4 was a disaster though. No one used that. That was buggy.
Like the whole
the whole planet knew about, like, how bad that was.
Like the whole thing, Photoshop, and everything was bad.
Yeah. I don't know if they just tried to crank it down quick. Subscribe. I agree. I've been, even if I like the program, which I don't, the idea of renting it out and then they can just change it whenever they want has always it sort of feels illegal to me too. I'm using Blender for 2D animation now, making quick 3D references, such a lifesaver. Yeah, no, I've never played with 3D, but I've heard, you know, there's all those cool things you can do now with trace over 3D, and that has to be cool. To just take to have instant reference. A lot of the times we just use photo reference. Let's see if I can thread this needle. Grease pencil is nice. I would like to play around with all these things. I would love to learn more programs, honestly. Life's sort of hectic for us right now, so it's not the good time to do it, but Mire than animate. Is my buggy? I haven't heard that before, but I'm not in that world. I can imagine anything 3D has to be somewhat, you know, fragile though. I'm a Toon Boom guy now. I've heard great things about Toon Boom. It seems like that's a good place for bigger studios to use too. It seems kind of like a one-stop shop almost. Long-time Blender user in my class. This requires Maya. So you're studying 3D? Well, I love to see that animation just a real career now. Like I feel like when we were graduating, it was kind of. I'm sure it was always kind of looked at as a weird hobby, but 2D and 3D game. Oh, very nice. Are you working on a game in your class too, or are you just kind of learning the principles? Closer to other programs, Maya crashes for the weirdest reasons. Yeah, I can imagine anything that I don't even. When I see someone playing with 3D, I might as well be trying to learn Greek. Who, Cody? Was anyone in 3D in our circle of friends when we were graduating?
Just Nate.
Nate was into it though, right?
But he was in 3D, and yeah, like I knew some of like acquaintances, but no,
yeah,
no one was
me
real.
too. It was weird. They kind of kept us like separated, the traditional and the 3D students, and animation and film in general was sort of separated too. Kind of the same principles though. I don't know why everyone. Did you feel that way, Bob, in your class? Like you didn't know any of the. Well, our friends were film friends, but.
Yeah, I don't know any of the 3D people. I know somebody. I forget his name. He went into 3D. I think he worked on like the Geico. Was there commercials?
The Gecko?
The
Geico Gecko?
Yeah. I don't know why his name was escaping me.
No, I couldn't remember who I collaborated with on my thesis. No, I always felt like we didn't know the film people, and there was this weird sort of vendetta I felt like against them.
I didn't have that. We almost had like there was like kind of competitions between different teacher classes.
Oh yeah. I had good teachers though. Like my first year, I was very lucky. I was literally sandwiched between Michael Vieto, who we were talking about earlier, the kind of the head honcho at Netflix now for animation, Phil Rinda, and we had Al Pardo, Mike Carlo stopped in a lot for that. It was small too. I mean, I'm talking out of like 13 people, like just those four right there are like leaders in the industry. What are the chances? Oh, do you know Phil Mootsie? Are you in the Netflix camp? Or well, Phil his reach is pretty deep. He's Cartoon Network forever too, and Nickelodeon, and every place we're always trying to get into. He was there. Okay, so now I can color this, reverse it, even see if it works first. Oh yeah, that's good enough, because we're going to pan it too. I knew him when he came out west. I went to school with his wife. Did some, okay, he did some freelance. Okay. He moved out west, right? I remember the day he never said it officially, but I remember the day he had an offer to go out west, I believe, and we were working on the ill-fated Catbot, which was a Disney pilot made at Funny Garbage, which is a New York-based studio, and it was one of those productions that you learn quick in the industry, that at least that part, that it was just like, oh, this was never going to make it because of all the problems that were leading up to the pilot. And you know, Funny Garbage housed 30 or 40 artists to just work on this pilot. And you did pretty big names too, like the director was a big name, really good artists too, really talented folks. And there's just a lot of talk in the halls about like, oh, it was such a kind of wishy-washy idea too. It was about a alien that was a cat and a robot and a girl, and they could never figure out what she was going to be and when. And it was just, so I was a storyboard revisionist on the time, so my whole tenure there for 6 months was taking old storyboards and turning the girl character into a cat. Then when they decided not to do that, I had to change it back to a girl, and then finally they're like, oh, maybe she's the robot. So we did all all manifestations of it. I moved my way up to layout because they were starting the pilot and they needed layout artists, and I just happened to know Flash pretty well, so they thought that was a big bonus. So what I'm going to do here is add drag to that, just so explaining while I'm doing this. So you can see like the nose will have some drag to it, kind of like that. Just give it a little nice cartoony bounce. So anyway, I moved my way up to layout, and they had me animate some scenes to it too, and Funny Garbage liked what I was doing, which was a company also doing other stuff, not just Catbot. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, Disney pulls the plug on everything. Not surprisingly, when you saw what was going on and what was happening with the pilot, but it was pretty shocking to all the artists there. And Funny Garbage wanted to keep my friend Jared Deal and Phil Rinda, and the other 27 people just had to leave that day. Just leave fired.
I came out drinking
yeah,
with
you came
the
out
entire
drinking.
company.
Yeah, that was well, everyone wanted to get drunk after that, and rightfully so. It was like a Wednesday too.
Had one of those days.
So did I.
Yeah. Yeah. Bob has a story like that too, actually. So, but
Anything you worked on, like Carlo. Yeah.
it was Mike Carlo was the Death Note.
Jared, I think, was that.
Jared, yeah, Jared. I wonder how many scalps each of them have on their pelts. You know, I mean, you can list off the Jared ones, but So anyway, they decided that they wanted Jared, myself, and Phil. So we were all brought into the office beforehand, before we knew everyone was getting fired, and they said, you know, they offered us a job. And Phil was the only one to be in charge. We're like, yeah, of course, that sounds great. You know, we could still keep working. And Phil kind of had his sights set on the West Coast already, and he turned it down, which I thought was crazy at the time. We were just both out of school, pretty much. But he made the right move. No, yeah, I mean, the proof's in the pudding. He's not he's not above this diner right now, so. But no, I think the West Coast has more opportunity for those big, especially for the bigger studios in animation. So. And he worked on plenty of shows. New York's definitely more roguelike, I'd say. Like, you're kind of on one job for a little bit, then you move around a lot. What show? What was your show, Bob, that happened on? Was it Nate the Great?
Nate the Great.
Yeah.
Nate the Great.
Kind of the writing's on the wall too when you look back, though, when you can tell
Oh,
things
you can tell the way
like
everybody was acting.
like frivolous spending and a lot of.
There was like producers had Cintiqs, and I walked in there and just like, why does 15 producers have Cintiqs?
And Cintiqs they're still expensive, but they were crazy then. So I got that. You just have to color that.
And it was in like a weird building, like there was something else going on. It was like another company.
Oh, they were like leasing it out.
Well, like it was like bought by another company that didn't do animation, and they were just doing animation inside of it. It was a nightmare.
There's a lot of that going on. It's just so weird that that's such a like it's a thing, you know. It should just be this weird anecdote. It's like everyone has that story when they were working, and then all of a sudden,
Also,
no more.
Yeah, it was just it was a Monday morning actually, because I came in from Philly.
Oh yeah, because you were dating your wife at the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came in from Philly, and then it was like
What do you-
10:30 in the morning, and they just pulled us in for a meeting, and we're like,
Then I might as well.
meeting,
I
and
should have
like,
stayed in Philly.
As they were giving the meeting, they were like locking up our computers so we couldn't do
Yeah.
anything.
Oh, I still wish you stole one.
I was really close to leaving my dirty laundry and taking it.
You would have been a hero.
Was really crossing my mind.
I wouldn't have blamed you. So I just put a little arc on this, so if you can see this guide layer right here, just to have a little bit of just a little bit of an arc since he's sort of looking down. Then I'm gonna do an ease in, ease out. Not full though, negative 50, positive 50. Just give a little bit of edge to it. So we got that going. Now all I'm gonna do, just always keep the chart above all my sprites so I know exactly where to get rid of the other keyframes. F6 the whole thing, to get rid of the guide after this too. Just had the color. Alright, so now we can do the tail. Got this guy kind of looking down.
Mizumi's got canceled, but I didn't care because we were just getting moved to a new. Like it was getting canceled. Nickelodeon wasn't doing it anymore, and all of these, all these producers were like, they didn't know what to do because
that's all they
lose their
had.
jobs, and we were like, well, all the animators are just gonna get moved to the other company.
So wait, another company bought Umizumi?
No, it was just Nickelodeon wasn't doing it in house anymore, so they were gonna outsource it to Curious Pictures.
Oh.
So it was a weird thing. Like we all got a severance,
And then you
we
get
were
to
all
work
just
on
gonna
it.
get rehired by.
That's not a weird thing, that's an awesome thing. Alright, let's see. Should I put his tail in here? I'm
But it was
guessing
just funny watching all these producers scramble around and they like didn't know, and I was just like, this is the best thing that could have happened today.
No, this is... Rest and vest. I don't know if I should do a tail or... It's gonna mess the silhouette up, I know that. Let's play with it. Also it gets... I'm trying to think of the tail because if we're doing like... If we want it sort of symmetrical so we can flip this guy one way or the other depending on how you hit him. Oh, thanks. Thanks, I'm glad you like it. I guess... No, no, that should be fine, because we do that all the time. Let's see, now, do I want to do... The question is, do I want it to do like a wave cycle, or just sort of ease in, ease out? Gotta clean that up a little bit differently. Okay, so tail's the same color as the belly. That much I know. I'm gonna see when let's try. We'll try a little wave, see if that looks right. Rough it out. So that'll go down. It could look right. Try it. Gonna change that to a different color so I can see it. Alright. Ooh, we're about an hour 12 into this, and I usually ask around the hour mark if there's any animation, whether it be a lesson or something you guys are working with on your end and you want to see how we might approach it. Not to say that's the right way, but if you guys are curious in any animation question, it doesn't have to be about blood either, let us know and we'll try to answer that for you. So let's see, when a wave's happening, when you're doing waves, you have to think of it like if this is the tail, like this over here is going to end up over here, so you do like the opposite curve, and then so it's going to go, you know, if you look at it and you kind of like if you were to shape tween this, it would just go like a straight line like that, but you have to think of it like this is going to go over here following that plane. So what you would do is kind of follow the curve like that. This would start going down. And then lastly, it's going to keep going that way, but now this one will turn into that one on that side. So you go down, oh, like that. Something like that. So you get like, well, super fast, but... So you see what I mean? Like the wave, like think of it as waves on an ocean. This wave becomes, this wave right here eventually becomes this wave over here. Same wave, it just kind of moving in that arc. So that's how you kind of want to approach that. It's same with the flag, like if you're doing a flag or any like particle of clothing in the breeze. So what we're going to do, since this is a kind of not exactly a huge arc here, I could probably even lift it. So we'll keep that kind of pattern in mind. You got a split, glad to... Oh, no, anytime, Stefan. It's good to hear from you, man. And yeah, let's definitely keep in touch. If I'll send. Let me send my email. If you ever want to catch up, if you're ever in the city or anything, yeah. Let's all grab a drink. I'm always looking to get out of the studio. And even if you're not there, I'm gonna probably grab a drink. Okay, so this right here is gonna eventually, like, you have to think of the wave keep going like this way. So that's gonna start bending like that. I'm just roughing this out first. And then it'll kind of curl back up. So that'll go down like that. So you can kind of see it kind of working a little bit right there. It's not a huge curve, which is the hard part, I think, in this one. It's kind of laying it against the ground. Trick one for me. Maybe more than one. Oh man, that brings me back. Stefan was one of the first proponents of Flash too. I remember he was showing how he did his thesis, and it was a lot like symbol animation was not a thing that was on my radar. And I was fascinated with it. It was a weird time because just seeing students complete films was just something that was so hard to do. Like, a lot of our class didn't finish. And then seeing one that was executed, like, professionally, like Stefan did, I was just like, whoa, this is mind-blowing. It's just right in the... this isn't going to be easing these out either. It should kind of be even the whole time, so that's why I'm doing every other frame in this one, not the closest to the middle. Alright, let's go up here. This tail's going to start heading down. It's, well, you should sort of set a time limit almost, too, on yourself. Like, I think that's the one thing about thesis year, that, you know, you have to have it done by the end of May. Now, you could start on it the summer before, but you need it done. I find, like, a lot of people who start films now just don't have that deadline. You know, it's more, I find like anything, it's just more about getting it done and learning a lesson from it than making it perfect. You'll just, you know, you'll start eating yourself alive if you just worry about every shot being perfect. Just get it done and take the lesson in there and then apply it to the next film. Deadline. I think deadlines are super important. Except when they're freelance and they make no sense, then I don't like them at all. They're so arbitrary in freelance. Alright, yeah. Couple more and this idle is finished. Now I'll just have to, in between the ones, I have to keep the chart right. Then I think the next spread I can do is him kind of burrowing into the ground. So I kind of have a fun idea for his attack. Where, Cody, do you remember in the original Zelda when forget how they kind of showed it, but remember those hands that used to come from the ceiling, grab you, and throw you into the? How did you know they were gonna hit? Like come from above this? Was there like a shadow or something under you that?
Yeah, there was a shadow and like a really defined like sound would happen
Oh,
too.
okay. So yeah, there were those cues. So you knew, like, it wasn't a cheap thing, right?
No, it was like I think some point they got a little more difficult, but the sound was still like that was the key, and the shadow was like a little less, gave you a little less warning,
Okay.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, because there's a
That was
blue
how
one
they.
and a red one. I remember that or something.
Yeah.
Or a green one.
It was just tough where like I think they mixed it up with that. What you remember those rooms? This is all in Link to the Past, and like remember the room where like the tiles started flying at
Yeah.
you,
Oh yeah.
and then I think they took one of those rooms and threw a hand into it.
I don't remember
No,
that, but
but-
I believe it.
It was like a hand that was in the whole dungeon. Like it wasn't in one room. He was following you every room, and then you walk into a tile room, and you're like, oh man, this is too much.
Too much for. All
Those
right.
are good though.
Well, it's a good game. So what the reason I bring that up is because I want him to sort of burrow, but like you kind of need to know where he's gonna show up. Like if he goes underground, like I don't know how you would indicate that when you're underground. Maybe just like the dirt path can follow him. Like you know how like in old Bugs Bunny cartoons when there was like a mole like under the ground and you just see like kind of the dirt path, but we could just make it disappear. Is that something?
Yeah, like well, if
Okay.
you're thinking like dirt paths, or you can think of the early boss in Link to the Past, the sandworm.
Yeah,
leaves,
but
like,
you
the
saw
dirt-
him. You
the
knew
dirt.
he was under there, right? Like you knew where he was gonna pop up, right?
Yeah, they always
Okay.
gave you kind of like.
All right, so I'm gonna call this one Burrow Pose One.
There's a lot of word burrow in my code already.
Oh, is there? Is that like?
Yeah.
Is that
like-
something that you had to use?
No, I'm just saying
Oh,
like, that's
okay.
what we call it because the rats go in and out.
Oh, yeah, those rats burrow too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I always duplicate the symbol so it's always registered. Make sure the horizon's always there. So their feet, like this is where just for a height reference, we always want that to be the bottom right there. And so what I'm gonna do, sort of like make kind of a pilot, like his butt will be in the air here. You'll see his tail. And then dirt will be around it, kind of like. So he kind of just dives right in. Now I'm gonna need the dirt color, which is in the other one. Oh, yeah. Okay, so
Sorry.
that's the dirt color.
I just think I might have fixed my bug I've been searching for a week.
For blood or for something else?
Come on, man.
No, for work.
That's what I was.
Come on, dog.
Now that's a come on, dog. That is
I'm
a come on,
such
dog.
in the home stretch with this project that like.
How close
once
are you to
it's
finish?
done, we're launching in like within the next week or two. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's,
So, you gonna?
it's just one crash in iOS bugging me. If people would just upgrade to the new phone, it would go away. But I guess I can't.
I
expect-
can't. Yeah, I can't complain because I don't upgrade my phone either.
Oh, and with our target audience isn't the youngest audience.
No? No, no. How?
The sweepstakes people are really.
That's a.
We're going after
that's
like a 12-year-old.
That's a demographic that you exactly know. I don't know if I give them feet or maybe just his butts in it. I think we're just gonna do keep them more rat-like for this. Okay, so I got that color. Let's clean this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this requires a lot of roughing out because there's a lot of secondary with the tail. So I'll do that next. I always just want to start with one clean kind of frame though to keep everything on model. I know a lot of people rough out a lot of stuff first and then clean up. I find it a little more soothing to do a cleanup at a time. And then we can always get, like, this will be the start of the burrow, so any, like, say I want him to get hit and then cut to the burrow, so we'll just divvy up the sprites like that, so it's not all, you know, we want one sprite for this, not a bunch of similar animation in there. So we got some dirt. Color that in. Alright, so I got that. Now I can kind of get rid of everything else. I don't even need the chart, really. I mean, it'd probably suit us to do it around a second anyway. But, let's play around and see what looks nice. So he kind of dives in like that, like he kind of, like, starts up here, he'll land up and dive down right in. So what happens is he's kind of going to scurry around a little bit while going down into, the dirt here, so he might go like something like that. The dirt server. That what's that show called again? Detectorist, yeah.
I still have to watch that.
That's great. That's such a good show. Yeah, the last season's on, right? What's it on Hulu?
I don't think it's on any of those. It's British.
What? So where did we used to watch that?
It was on season 1 and 2 were Netflix. I don't know if 3 are.
Okay, so you can kind of see him scurrying along here. Then it's sort of a giant S curve. If you're ever doing a snake, you kind of like a snake's pattern. You would kind of map out that and just have his head follow that thing, and the same thing sort of goes with kind of these antics like that. Alright, then we just play with the dirt on top of that, of course. So let's... So I'll probably start with this frame right here. That's my next cleanup. Keep that up there. Oh, hold on. Sorry for lurking. Working on my own thing while watching. Oh, no worries. Stop by anytime. I gotta go. Thanks for another awesome stream, guys. Alright, if you want to see the rest of it, Nicholas, check YouTube probably Monday. And of course, thanks for stopping by. So, the dirt in this case will kind of probably fluff up around here. Something like that. So it's going to follow the contour of the rat's body here. The bottom can pretty much stay the same. You want to do a little variance, but nothing crazy. Clean that up. And I'm thinking this part he's not vulnerable, so you can't even hit him here. It'll kind of just be well, just an animation that just sinks into it. Clean up the tail here.
Hey Chris, can I ask you to do something to your files?
Yeah, what do you need?
So we used to do them on our last project when we were doing Mage a
Mhm.
little bit, but there's something I basically have to do before I export every time.
Sure.
It'd probably be easiest for you is what's outside of this? Like, so I'm just trying to figure out where, like, what I'm looking at. Is this like, if you get out of this movie clip, is that what you would copy that like that clip and then put it like on the scene for me?
Like if I take this sprite as a symbol and bring it somewhere else.
Like this is the actual animation of
Yeah, this
whatever you're
is
doing.
embedded inside the symbol or the movie clip.
Okay, so in whatever this layer is, like this is like I consider this like one level deep.
Okay.
Make a alpha's like an alpha 0 square around the whole thing.
Like
Centered.
it should like none of
Like-
the rat's
like
body
add
should
a
be
new-
outside of it.
Yeah, like add a new layer, just make a rectangle with no
Oh,
alpha.
okay. So when you
And
make the
then- and then lock
PNG, it's
it.
always the same size. You mean?
It's just so like, yeah, because if you it keeps the orientation in the center of the file.
Gotcha. And so make it an exact square too.
Yeah, it's just more of like I do it every time, but since you like a lot of times you're just copying from other animations anyway.
Yeah, no, I'll do that at
It'll-
the end just to make sure there's no outside of anything. Like once I finish all these sprites, because
Yeah, and
one
and-
might be
and
bigger
don't-
than the other.
And the thing too is don't worry about it being like too big or to have
Sure.
to be tight. It's like texture packer like wipes all the empty space. So
Okay, so it won't even increase file size.
I think the rename.
no.
Oh, okay, cool. So
Yeah, that's why when I do it, I just do like it's like 1,000 by 1,000, and then like
Oh,
sometimes
really?
I'm like,
That
oh,
much?
I need. Well, it depends on what I'm doing, but then I'll be like, oh, it needs to be bigger, and I'll just do like 1,500, just like to just make sure it's bigger.
Now,
'Cause a lot,
the Rat King, we're gonna have to make him just 100%, I think, because he's gonna be outside. Like when I right-click edit him, he's bigger than the work area, so we're gonna have to shrink him down to just be 100. Now, is that gonna affect the graphics? Like if you see it at 100% rather than 25, he'll be the same size as you show, but like since it's vector, it shouldn't mess up.
no, it shouldn't be on my part. That's
Okay.
like we only go up the percentages to keep your line weight the same, right?
It's just the line weight, yeah, so there's no
Yeah.
imperfection. But I'm drawing him big enough, I just have to shrink him as a symbol inside. This is
Oh, yeah.
this is compelling stuff, right, guys?
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to. I'll make sure he's 100% so he fits inside the symbol.
Trust me, as
because
long as you
if
just
you right click
put-
edit, yeah.
Yeah, as long as you put a Becky in his file next to him
Okay.
to show me what size he is. Like,
Yeah, I'll always have that.
yeah.
But no, that's
How many Becky's high is he?
he's tall. He's a big
Yeah,
boy.
I think I said that to Bob I don't know where you were, but we were talking about the boss fight. We were like, I'm like, like we're kind of limited. He takes up the entire screen.
No, I was looking at the Rat King like in the context of like what you would see on the screen, and I'm like, oh man, you're fighting in close quarters here.
Well, I think that's like a good thing, which I always love to take boss fight ideas from Nintendo because they did.
Well, yeah, they
so
did
well.
so much of that. Yeah.
But like that's their MO is like you make something really big, and the mechanics are always like they're like, okay, we got to get rid of this big guy for a little while, and they like drop him down and make him split, or it's just like fun things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And
Mhm.
they're fun, but then as you're making a game, you realize, oh, they're doing that because you can't just fight something big all the time. It's like
No,
like those.
especially like there's so much room for it to hit him too. Now, just like
Yeah.
is it going to be a challenge and all that?
Well, that's like the whole like I can spend a whole stream talking about the greatness of like Dark Souls, but like the biggest flaw that
I'm
game
not watching
has-
that stream, by the way.
Yeah. But the biggest flaw that game has is a lot of times the bosses were just hide under their butt and just attack them because they're so big.
Like the
and they
character
can't
can hide
hit you.
under their body.
Yeah, like you could just get a spot where he couldn't hit you, but you could just hit him, and like you could cheese a bunch of the fights.
Is Andrew proof wrong? And Zoom where?
Yeah, that's true.
Professor. Yeah. But I'm thinking, you know, what's interesting about Nintendo though is they even had less space than us because we're widescreen. So we actually we have more room, and I was still like, man, this is close. But the thing is, he could just be on top of the level too, and there can be some bottom, like so you can dodge better and stuff. And there's only certain times he's vulnerable.
Yeah, or you do only part of him is vulnerable. Like we made
like when he's
Professor Rockwell's head, we just made it vulnerable, but you can.
Yeah.
As we get our combat better, we can be more pinpoint about what you have to attack.
Okay, cool. No, there's a lot of that practicality stuff that you don't realize how small. Like I never realized how small Becky is until I see her like playing the game. I'm like, wow, that's tiny. Okay. Well, that's what keeps the subscribers coming. Hot technical talk.
Kill him in the butt. That's by Rapid Dribble.
Is that a Dark Souls thing? Is that what they say? Yeah. Never played. When I heard it was like super hard, I was just like, I have enough hardships in my life.
It takes patience, and that's something you don't.
No,
have.
okay. Good to know. No, like I get anxiety when I watch that Mario Maker, like those new ones.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just like this doesn't. It reminds me of like Pavlov's dogs or something. It's like you just learn how to press a button or something, you know. So what I'm gonna have here, everyone, is for the dirt to eventually disappear. So it's kind of sinking in on itself while the rat is leaving us. Okay, so that can start going down like that. So it's all gonna start caving in a little bit. What were you gonna?
Oh man,
you were gonna ask.
I was gonna say the other night I started playing The Witness, which is like the game Jonathan Blow. Remember Jonathan Blow from Indie Game Movie?
Yeah. Which one did he do?
He did Braid.
Oh yeah. Well, amazing.
Yeah. So this was
that.
his follow-up game was The Witness.
Okay.
Like kind of like Mist.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's just like puzzle. It's a giant world, and puzzles in it, and God, I can't. It's like every 10 minutes, it's my most hated game and then my most loved game. Like,
I never beat Myst, but I played Myst more than any other game, like in high school, like because it's the only computer game I had, and I never got past the part. I just kept playing.
Yeah,
no,
it's good. The puzzles in this game are like they're tough, and I finally had to go to bed because I got to one and I just couldn't figure. Like so annoying. They're kind of smart, definitely.
Well, I was watching a documentary. There's like a whole you think you beat it, but then there's a whole nother.
In Myst, or no, this is the new thing.
No,
Witness.
Well,
yeah, like I don't want to look up like how many puzzles there are because I feel like I'm gonna ruin it for myself.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like. It was really interesting.
Well, that's another thing we didn't have was we couldn't look up anything.
No, you were just screwed.
You were just. And it's weird, the older I get, the less patience I have, which is probably kind of a common thing, but I would never... If something frustrated me to that degree when I was... Now, I'd be like, I'm not playing this game anymore.
This is my life.
I have better things to do. I have my own frustrating game to make.
I'm pretty sure my dad used the internet to find out how to get past something in Myst when I was younger.
Remember, this is gonna date me a little bit, but what? It's called Lands of Lore. Do you remember that game, Cody? The first one, the pixelated one before it got that like crappy 3D.
I know these types of games. I didn't really play these ones.
I played that a lot.
These are like the Shadowgate
Yes,
type of
yes.
games for Nintendo. Yeah.
All right, so we're closing up the dirt here, so it's gonna eventually just disappear. You don't want it sitting around there, just wasting memory and sprite. Okay. Kind of like a cloud disappearing, or. So, see if that's even. Just want to make sure it's relative to the horizon. Looks like it's going up a little bit. It is. Ooh. That's okay. I'm okay with that, if you guys are. A cloud with a sphincter, yeah. It is a little, sphincter-esque. No, I loved Lands of Lore when that was another game I just played before school. Like I'd wake up extra early. God, life is so easy then. Like that was the hardship trying to figure out that.
My wife will never let my kids play video games. Like, there's no way.
I mean, I was
And I would love to do
16,
this.
and it wasn't.
No, I'm counting even when they're probably when they're 25, they're still not gonna be allowed to.
Just dropping this one out.
Do you see that last comment?
My life is Dong. I made fun of you on the first, on our first stream, and you'd never been back. Good to see you, dude.
We've been making fun
Oh,
of
I
you.
told-
I still been making fun of you.
I messaged him that Stefan was in the
Oh yeah, those
I'll
guys
say
work
comment for
together.
Stefan,
Stefan, but not
Yeah.
for your boys at Exit 73, huh? For shame.
He's too busy working.
His life
Sure.
is stuff. He's he's close though.
but-
Don, do you
I
think by
he's-
Magfest your game will be finished? Bob snickered. And so did Cody. I think he could do it.
Not to be touchy, makes sense.
I get to work at 2. Yeah. You're really buckling down on your life being easy, aren't you? Alright, so this can just slowly. So it's gonna just leave kind of like 3, 4 little yeah, that doesn't make sense. Just be... And then slowly ease out to just a little dot. Oh. Alright, so we did it in a little over 30 seconds, but you'll be fighting something else by then. And what I can have here is dirt kind of kick up. Like maybe around here. I could start having dirt. Kind of flick up here. Secondary kind of stuff. Maybe around there. Yeah, I can't believe Stefan was on that. That was so cool. Derpy Kirby, the thing when you see it frame by yeah. No, hopefully no one really examines my stuff frame by frame. I'm all about the movement, but like if it I was noticing when we were doing Flex Caliber, which is super animated, it has everything's moving all the time. It's not a lot of still frames. It's like, God, some of these in-betweens, I wouldn't show them to too many people. Alright, so we got that, so that's all kind of timed out. Let's start in-betweening this.
You know you've made it when people are going frame by frame.
No, I don't know about that. They could be just making fun of me. Like, who's this?
So it means there's someone that cares enough to go into
Oh, maybe, yeah. We'll see. I don't think there's a lot of A lot of that going on.
So we'll know we made it when people are parodying the game on YouTube.
That's when you know when you hit the
When I can buy
parody status.
when I can buy a T-shirt with Cuphead and Becky next to each other, then I know we've made it.
Like a bootleg.
Oh yeah, like at a
okay.
convention.
No, I guess anything bootleg. But Cody, you were mentioning yesterday that someone at your school knew about Blood, right? Or
Not my school.
Well, your daughter's school.
Not my daughter's school. No, it was my nanny's daughter's school.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, she. So if the person's watching or listening,
Did you find out who it was?
She didn't. She, trying to get a hold of someone at school, I guess. She was supposed to find out today. But I'm guessing she's not watching the stream since school is happening.
Yes.
Maybe during the summer she watched, but I guess she said the girl's work looked a lot like your guys' art style.
Cool.
So definitely seems like inspired. She goes to like
Does she go to an art school?
like an art.
Oh, nice.
Like an art. It's like a high school meant for like different like art fields, like
Sure.
a more focused.
That's awesome.
And, yeah, no, so I told her I'd give her some pins and stickers to bring to school.
Spread the word. 2026, we'll have a game. No, we have to do it. That's why I want to do these every day. That's why I want to give up freelance and do these. It's a tough sell. Especially convincing 4 other guys to go unemployed with me.
Is Andrew ready to quit his job?
I don't. He might not say it, but I'll convince him, and then we get Dong in on it too, and we all quit together.
Andrew, isn't your wife? She can pay it all, right? She got this. Tell her I believe in her.
You want her to be the breadwinner? I wonder how long it would take, even if we did. Right, take longer than our runway would allow us. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Right, I'm gonna follow the contours of the dirt first.
Bob on the phone.
Yeah, I don't know. Someone called him. I don't know if it's our landlord.
He doesn't want to come and yell at the stream again?
That's our office mate.
A tenant. Yeah.
I love that. That was my favorite thing that happened this year. You paying my mortgage? I'm not paying my mortgage.
Yeah.
I'm barely paying my mortgage when I'm working for money. No, we all just moved to Cody's garage.
It'll fit. There's enough.
There's enough room for 4 dudes. No, it's the happiest I am is when I'm working on Blood, though. I can say that with animation.
Dirty romance books, Andrew. Plug them right here. I bet you there's tons of fans.
Oh, it's his wife. His wife's on there.
Man, I became Facebook friends with his wife, and I only see images from her books, and my Facebook feed changed very drastically.
How many books does she have?
She's written a lot.
So she must work from home too, then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, awesome.
Or Andrew doesn't, just her.
Oh, this is her.
So 6.
Ooh, that's a real good amount.
That picture is hilarious.
Is it a romance novel? And 6 is nothing to sneeze about.
I guess he's showing the office again.
Is that John that said that?
No, that's it. He's showing. I think he's trying to.
All right.
Push John.
Well.
But the thing is, good luck with that room. I don't know.
It doesn't bother me.
No, that's what I told him. It's just, I just said, you know, but like, if he's gonna start opening other things up, it's like, there's a million. You know, I don't want to hear that from him because there's a million places.
Oh, I will unplug everything right now and just move down the road. Who's he showing it to?
I guess an older architect.
Okay. Yeah, and John's not here. Oh man,
Well,
I'm excited to see this unfold.
I actually might
Tell John.
go poke my head out there. Well, they're coming up in a minute.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys might get another impromptu John alert. Oh, Anthony. No, it doesn't bother me.
No,
As long as we keep these 2 rooms, though.
That's what I was. No, that's it. And I'm sure he's gonna try to drop the price on these.
Well, try as you might. No, I think when we pay up front, so we can't really. That's
No, but
that's.
the thing is, it's also up in like what is it, a month?
I'm not gonna bring that up, but he probably knows. Yeah, maybe we can't quit yet, guys. But I just thought John rented those places though.
Yeah, I think he was just disgusted with the way I wanted to. I think that really.
What's that?
I think he was just disgusted with how it looked the other day when it came up.
How bad it looked?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't argue with that logic. Oh boy. I think we're going like that. Alright, so we started to get this burn. You can see what's going on here, right? Just do one more in between there. Yeah. I think I'm gonna shoot a lot of this on ones too, just because I want him to look really like he's really burrowing here. Okay, so this we don't need any roughs. Just gonna wing it. Oh, I can't wait to talk about this. Well, you got a lot done.
Oh, I had to do the whole thing twice.
2 times.
That's nothing like doing projects twice.
Twice.
You get a little bit faster the second time.
Everyone is.
2019 year is the year
It's
of everybody
it's like everyone's really getting on my nerves. Pretty unprofessional. Oh, thanks for the subscribe. No, it has been. I've noticed it the most in client work though. That's the most shocking part. I don't know. Have any of you guys that are doing freelance? Have you noticed clients have gotten a little more, a lot more bravado? That's a fun little burrow, right? Let's see if that works. I think that works in the context of things. Okay, let's shoot some of these on ones and color it. We could call it a stream. Cody, you want to tell them where we'll be in a few months? Or in a month?
Oh
Yeah, sorry, I was just looking at something.
Cody knows more.
We're going to Madrid.
We're gonna be worldly travelers, Cody and myself. Going, and what's the conference called? 3D Wire.
3D Wire.
Yeah, we'll be there. We're gonna be talking about blood. I don't know how many of you will be in Madrid on October 2nd to the 6th, but we'll be there, which is exciting for us to get to. And it's I think the kind of the crux of it is we're going to be explaining how we turned kind of a failed pitch, which was Blood, into an IP, into a video game. So it's going to be a little bit all over the place, but it'll be about our journey to what you guys are seeing today, and where it started, and what we're doing with that and stuff. Let's see, some other promotional stuff. You can always follow all of our stuff on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Twitter's our most active. We always recommend that one. Instagram, I don't know how that works. And Facebook, I'm not paying for views, so we get about 11 people there. Let's see, there's bloodgame.com. That gives you kind of a little bit of an inside track. If we ever post new art and stuff before it hits the social places, we'll put it on there and it'll explain what we're up to and all that stuff. Anything else, Bob, that we're kind of figuring out? Promotional? Cody will be back to programming Blood soon. Sounds like it.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah, I hope.
Time's ticking. It's almost fall. We just have the winter. Get a whole level done. And I can't do it 2 hours a week. I'm gonna need to work some nights again. But it's good. It's good. I like working on nights on this stuff.
That's what I tell myself.
That's what I tell myself to keep the tears at bay. Shoot this on ones. I like these on ones, these kind of effecty kind of things. It always feels a little smoother. But then I chop it up. Like you see there's some twos in the middle. Sometimes that's fun to do. I don't like everything on twos and I don't like everything on ones. I really do like to mix it up a lot. I think it gives it a more traditional look because not everything you see traditionally is just on twos or ones or threes. A lot of it's chopped up like that. We stream every Friday for Drawing Blood, and every other Thursday, though we didn't do it last Thursday, so we're going to pick up slack next week. And that's Bob over there, who's going to show how he kind of approaches like After Effects projects. We're setting up a rig right now for... And we could always do backgrounds for Blood too. And we might actually parlay that on Thursdays since we have a lot to do. But no, we do it, what do we do it, 8 times a month or 7 times a month? Something like that. But every week for this kind of stuff. And occasionally After Effects stuff. Alright, I kind of like this. Alright, well we could, I got 2 minutes to, well we can go a little longer too, but let's finish this right. I wouldn't respect myself if I didn't. Mad dash to see how much I can get done in a couple minutes. Oh, our new roommate might be here.
Was it someone showing the next
Yeah.
the area next to you?
In the back. We have these first 2 rooms, so.
Oh, to replace what's his name?
I don't know what's gonna transpire, but. Is he here?
Yeah, there.
Okay. Is John there?
No.
Oh. Uh-oh.
I
I get it. I get both sides, but it's a little dubious, so. Alright, let's ease out a little bit on this end. Shoot that on ones. Just really ease out at the end so the dirt disappears slow. I think that's and then I don't know how we're gonna do how he's gonna appear. That's me and Cody conversation that we'll have to figure out. Hi guys, a little question: how do you manage to go between your family life and often misunderstood life of an animator? That's a tough one. It's hard to explain to anyone who's outside of animation the sheer amount of work that goes into stuff. My wife, for the most part, very understanding. Like when I have to work at night, I mean, she's disappointed for sure when I have to work at night. And for my kids, that's tough too. They're very young, so they really don't understand it. But I guess it's when we're busy, and when we're not, we have to really focus and get as much family time as we're in, and that's sort of the best case scenario for me anyway. I mean, Cody's sort of in the same boat he's been programming nonstop for how long now, Cody, for this last project?
4 months.
Yes, and like there wasn't a lot of free time, and like you had your anniversary and stuff during that, and it's hard.
Yeah,
It's tough.
Luckily, my wife she's been working a lot too, so it's pretty much like my daughters go to bed, and then both of us just retire to our office work.
Yeah.
Until
I
morning.
always wait for my kid to go to sleep before I'm not. My kids. No, I don't have a great answer for it other than it's just part of the job, I guess. I think a lot of it can be avoided by if people were a little more educated with how schedules work, but
maybe
that never seems to.
Their problem.
Well, it's never the one who has to do the stuff is asked how long this should take. It's always someone who thinks they know. It's a pretty big difference. I get it. It's sad to see every one of us. We have 2 deadlines now that I'm about to go ballistic on some of these losers who are making up this stuff. And then, then they throw notes on you on top of it. And then they put their feet up on their desk and it's like, job well done, everyone. No. Job not done.
Job just begun.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I have so many on that side of the industry. I've butted heads so many times, though. It's probably affected my career. Just gotta get behind its woes here. What did Lion? What did Dong send to us? Alright, let's see. So this dirt would probably put up there. What did Dong send? I see something.
What is this?
It's something with
This
business.
guy's on business trips.
Oh, yeah. Business.
There's not a lot of business happening.
Alright, let's get this.
Do you see that other question, Chris?
No, what is it? Well, very different question here. Any advice on shading animation, like shadows on a head turn? I can animate a head turn and color it, but animating the shadows is breaking my brain. You always want to start with the light source, like where the light's coming from, because that'll drastically change where the shading is. So usually if it's a head, like, let's say this is, so what I would do is animate the head as you would. And then just kind of use a cone or a sphere to show you where the shading is. So if the light's coming from this way, you always kind of make sure it's going the same direction. So the shadow would kind of stay almost in the same spot and follow like the contours of the head. And then, depending on if there's any backlighting and stuff, that's secondary light, but You know, so you just I always kind of keep or try to keep a mental note of where the light's coming from, and then just sort of move it thusly, and then just remember that what you're animating is, even though it's 2D, it's a real 3D space we're trying to convey here. So we're gonna try to keep the contours and all that stuff. So it's a sphere, a jawline, stuff like that. So what you're gonna want to do is just make sure where the light source is, and if the light source changes, that's a good way to kind of start, I think. I've taken it's just not shading since. Yeah, that's how I would probably approach that. It is a hard thing though, because it's not like in betweening really. Like there's no real way to correctly in between it. You just have to sort of I would animate the line work first though, for sure, before you even worry about the shading. Yeah, it's gonna take practice for sure. But if you take like if you look at a sphere, and you roll it across, like say you take a tennis ball or a baseball and you roll it across a table with the light source kind of fixed on top, you'll see that the shadow doesn't change all that much. Like it's always following the same contour, so it won't move around on you a lot. So you want to kind of keep the same volume almost. Let's see. Trying to figure out this. Well, that's on the other side. Do you guys know the Flash NDAP? Cool. They have really good functionalities, and I don't know about that. I've never heard of that function. Is it something that you use in Flash that can do it for you?
Must be such an older Flash, I can't imagine.
Probably not in this Flash, but I'm sure in something like Adobe Animate they might have something that could probably. Also, Bob, you've done like light sources and stuff for where you kind of use the contour of the character to do it, right?
Like an After Effects.
Yeah, an
Like
After
an
Effects.
output, yeah, like one of the S.
So that's just about. Let's want to have the dirt pop up though. Here, let's start that here. Alright, so we got 2 sprites done. Not bad for 2 hours, I guess. It's 2 sprites we didn't have this morning, I guess. I always feel like I could get more done. I think that's the animator's curse, too. Everyone thinks it's, oh, it's just 8 drawings. Let's see, a little floaty even. I might have to take some of those frames out. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Yeah, I like that. Let's see what I did there. Just got rid of the frames. I kept it on the same chart.
See you later.
Take care. Drama's gonna unfold.
I'm more concerned about what's going to happen to us come November. 'Cause
Well,
even
the thing
Flex-
is, it's like, then we'll just rent this room again. It's like, we never really did anything.
No, which is fine, but
We
it's just sorry for the person next to us. We're gonna close it.
well, also sorry there might not be electricity.
That's a good point too.
There's a very good chance, you know.
Yeah, so. Alright. Well, we're about 9 minutes late, but that's okay. I'm glad some of you have stayed. So that's gonna wrap up this session right here. Thanks, all you for tuning in and watching our stuff and asking these questions. We really appreciate all the audience and all the engagements and stuff. You can always catch us next Friday, next Thursday actually. We might do something too. What else? And I mentioned all the promo stuff. We don't need to go over that again. And yeah, so tune in next week. And I hope everyone has a great weekend. And we'll be talking soon. Enjoy, guys.